hide these toes, girl. I'm like, look at mine. All right. Hey. Welcome back to Creative Force Choreo TV. Hey. I have not changed. I am still Tara, and this is...
I'm Jay, or known as JaShawn. Well, yes, JaShawn, known as Jay.
Right. Sometimes we get it mixed up.
Yeah, whatever.
That's what happens when you have dance brain.
Whatever.
You know, like when you've been dancing all day and doing a lot of things, your brain just don't, like, calculate the things the way that it should.
Right.
So, anyhow, today, with my Twizzlers, so, you know, if you see me chumping, that's what I'm doing. We are going to talk a little bit about our dance backgrounds. So we're going to dive a little bit more into that. Also, talking a little bit about our transition to dancing either professionally or dancing at the D1 level, and talking a little bit about that experience, because we know it's audition season, whether it's for, you know, college, university, or whether it is for a professional NBA or NFL team. So we wanted to kind of break down a little bit about that. So you want to maybe start and share your experience first while I chump?
Sure.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas. I grew up dancing there competitively, doing jazz, ballet, lyrical. That was about it. jazz, ballet, lyrical, contemporary, point, very like technical background. And then, funny thing is, when I was going to college, I did not want to dance in college. My parents made me try out. My mom made me try out. So always listen to your mom. She was like, I did not go through all this to put you through dance and for you not to go to school for it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. My mom and my dad said that. So I ended up deciding to try out for KU last minute. I think I had to express ship my like tryout packet, because back then they didn't. That wasn't even really that long ago, but like I don't think they had like electronic. Gotta like actually physically send your stuff in the mail. I had to put my solo like on a disc. Maybe it was a disc or a flash. I don't know, whatever. But I had to actually like physically send my like audition stuff to them, and I had to express ship it because it was that last minute. So long story short, went up to Lawrence, tried out, and, you know, fell in love with it. Okay, maybe not fell in love with it immediately, actually. My freshman year was kind of a little bit of a struggle, to be honest. Like, you go from being at a studio where, you know, you have, like, the same, like, you know, 6, 10, 12, you know, maybe you're in a lot of different numbers, but you do the same dances all year, to you are learning at least like 2 to 3 routines a week, and you are just cycling through them constantly. And so that was a little bit different, like just constantly learning whole routines. And then also just like the team aspect of it. You think when you dance competitively, and, you know, I'm not knocking. I loved studio dance and would never give it up. But when you're dancing at a studio, it's still kind of that that I mentality just a little bit. Okay. Just because, you know, you are doing solos, you're auditioning for scholarships, you know, stuff like that. Like, even though you are on a team, there's still a lot of things that you do independently. Still a lot of things that you do on your own. When you go to a college team, there is like nothing you do by yourself. You are team all the way. You do everything as a team. You work out as a team. You practice as a team. You perform as a team. There is no solo competition. There's no like duos. You are team all the time. And so I loved getting to have that. You know, going into college, like, wow, like I really do have 22 sisters, and it really does become a sisterhood in a different way than like your studio does. And also, whenever you get on a college team, I feel like you lean on your teammates a lot more than you do when you were in high school and did competitive. Just because, you know, you all are away from your family. You all are trying to figure out how to be young adults, trying to do time management and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I think also the biggest, like, struggle for me transitioning into, like, college was the time management. All of a sudden, you are responsible for yourself, and you know, you don't have your parents ragging on you all the time about doing stuff. And it's like, man, okay, I have workouts at 5:45 a.m. and I have to go to class at 8, and then I get done at 1, but I don't have practice till 6. What should I do in between there? Nap? I mean, I napped a lot, but you know, just stuff like that.
Right.
But I would not give up my college experience for anything. It was a great program, great atmosphere, great coach. Coach rocked. And so, yeah, that was kind of like my journey into college, and absolutely loved it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, my dance background is a little bit different than Jay, coming from a different dance world. And we want to share this with you so that you can know that you can have totally different dance backgrounds, but yet you can still reach your goals, you know, and whether that's trying out, like I said, for a college or university or professional team. So for me, I actually come from drill team, never studio trained. And so drill team for me, I'm from Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. It was like, that was a big deal growing up. Like, that's what you did, you know. And drill team was a very, it could be very like loud and energetic and just lots of power when you dance. The drummers are drumming, playing the quads, the snare, all that. Man, I can hear the beats now. But that's what I grew up doing because that's what my siblings. I'm the youngest of 4, and 2 of my older sisters actually did drill team, and so I got into drill team because it was just nice to send all the girls to drill team. So mom didn't have to worry about the whole lot. But I actually really learned that I was able to pick up choreography really quick. I was younger than a lot of people on the team, so I was already like really in a league of my own already, like at a young age. So I did drill team for a number of years, and then I went on to dance in college. High school. So I'm already skipping high school. Went on to dance in high school and was on Palm Squad, as they called it in high school. What do they call it? Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
when
like
you were Palm Squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't on, that was another thing. I was not, I was on my high school dance team for like 1 year.
Okay.
And we didn't really do like a lot of like pom-pom stuff.
Yeah.
Like strong actual pom movement. And so that was another thing in college. Like when you say pom, it is like pom. And I struggled. I was used to like lyrical and release. And they were like, pom, you gotta hit it hard. And I'm like, I'm not good at this.
I'm hitting and it's not happening.
Trying.
And it was crazy because our team was called Palm Squad, but actually we did a lot of hip hop, and we actually did a lot of pom, and we did a dab of jazz, you know, because like our team structure, our school, there's a lot of dancers at the school, just really did not studio train. It was just, you know, the way that we grew up, and I know everyone is different. I really don't know to this day why my parents didn't put me into studio training, but you know, that life is already gone, so I can't dwell on it. So anyhow, after high school, I did go on to dance in college, and I danced in undergrad, and then I actually did some coaching while I was getting my master's degree. And then once I got out of college, graduated from grad school, I went on to actually I had a kid. Okay, so that's
let's not forget about him.
Yeah, I had a kid, and so I have a son. He's 13 now. But back then, okay, now I'm a mom.
When did he turn 13?
He actually turns 13 the 27th. But
I was like,
he
when
told
did
me
he turn 13?
He told me I had to start saying 13, so I have to say 13.
Okay, I was all of a sudden like, did I miss something?
Yeah, so January 27th is when he'll officially be 13. And so I had a son, and actually after I had my son, that's different on your body as a woman, you know. It's because the dance world is like, you need to be fit, you gotta, you know, have a good strong body for what you're doing. Now that you gotta be skinny, because it's not that at all. Skinny is not it. Like, you gotta be athletic, and that's a huge difference than being a skinny girl, you know. But I had just had a baby, and I'm like trying to dance and, you know, be in a top with your belly showing. I'm like, I don't know about that. But I went on to dance semi-pro. for a team back at home called Omaha Beef. And that was actually really, really good for me to actually do because it helped me to get back into the rhythm of dance really quickly shortly after having my baby. Probably like a year had gone by. It taught my body to find a different normal routine after having a child. And believe it or not, y'all, for me, everybody is different. But after I had my son and I went to go dance, like my abs popped out like nobody's business. And people were like, how did you get these abs? And I'd be like, I had a baby.
I'm still trying.
I had a baby. And
still trying to get them abs.
But I think a lot of it because I danced all my life before having my child. That, you know, my stomach got stretched out. And then after I had him, it just kind of like came back in. But anyway, that's still a different journey because now I'm auditioning for teams and I'm a mother. And that's not the normal story for everybody auditioning for a team. And so I made this in my pro team. Did that for a couple of years. Actually, two different teams in Omaha. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because there is no NFL, NBA in Nebraska. So if you want to audition for a pro team, you have to leave the state to be able to do that. And so I had built up the courage, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this. And so then I went to audition for Kansas City Chiefs cheerleaders back in 2012. And I went on to the team, and I did my audition. And I didn't make it my first year in 2012. And so it's really easy to want to give up when something don't turn out the way that you were hoping that it did.
Right.
And I actually did find a piece of myself like, all right, I tried. Good to know. I'll just live my life in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I had family and support and all of them that like no, you got this. Like, try a different team, try something different. But in the process of that, I actually winded up getting an email from the coach of Kansas City Chiefs at that time, and they were actually doing what they call this training team. So you're not on the team, but they did select certain individuals who actually did go through the audition to actually train them so that they can re-audition the following year. So on the training team, I learned tools like becoming knowledgeable about football. I, again, had that interaction and just that sisterhood with the girls who were a part of the training team. Accountability, making sure I knew my routines, practicing, working on my fitness. So a lot of great things to prep you for the following year. And then I did go back and audition in 2013, and I actually did make the team in 2013. But a couple of key things I think I want to point out is when you are getting ready to audition, and especially for like a professional team, and this actually can apply to even applying to colleges and universities as well. Be knowledgeable about the team you are trying out or auditioning for. Not just the dance team, but the sport, you know, that you will potentially be dancing or cheering for. So whether that's football, basketball, whatever that may be, like, you need to be knowledgeable of that organization, knowledgeable of that school. And when I say knowledgeable, I mean really know, you know, know the history, know the players. Sometimes people don't think this is important, but like, know the positions of, you know, the team. Like, there's football. What is a wide receiver? What does a wide receiver do? You know, a touchdown. How many points do you get for a touchdown? And sometimes people take these things like for granted, and you go into an audition and you get a test, and they're testing you on these things, and you're like, I didn't study a thing about football. You know, it's not showing that organization that you're really serious about them. You know, not to say you can't learn these things, but prepare yourself. So not only your dance elements, but, you know, working on your communication, working on your fitness, working on being knowledgeable of that team, hair, makeup, you know, what's kind of like the look of the team, you know, that they're going for. So I think a lot of those things are very key when you are thinking about auditioning. And I also think something that's really important is when you audition, like, really take some moments with yourself as I reflect. I'm very strong-minded just in general, me, myself, but I've seen a lot of young ladies that when they audition, they are already second-guessing themselves when they walk through that door. And that mindset does not help you during the process. You know, like, you got to be strong and confident and sure about oneself. So when you are put against these other wonderful ladies dancing around you, you don't start to second guess yourself. And guys, sorry, there are guys auditioning now. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, fellas. Okay. But I think that's a really important thing, you know, like be comfortable. And how you get comfortable is the preparation and what you do before the audition. Some people, Jay, you know, she decided at the last minute to audition. That worked in her favor. That does not always work in everyone else's favor, you know.
And I will say, I remember my coach and assistant coach told me that I was kind of like one that they kind of know about, honestly, at tryouts, and they kind of like took a chance on me. And so
yeah. So
luckily, it did work out in my favor, but. Just so you know, it wasn't like I was a shoo-in. They were like, okay, we're going to take our chance on
it. So I think if you are a high school student getting ready to transition to audition for a college or a university or a pro team, be very familiar of the dates of when that's even happening, the location of where it's happening, how much time it's going to take you to get from wherever you are to get to the, you know, the venue of wherever it is, because it also makes you really anxious when you thought you had 30 minutes, you know, it was going to take you 30 minutes to get there, but it's actually going to take you 45. Now you're rushing and you're frantic and you're worried, you know.
Something else I would say, because I've seen this a lot when it comes to college teams, that a lot of people coming from high school to college, will get on college teams and then not like it and then end up, you know, not auditioning, or quitting the teams and stuff like that. Making sure that you're really, really wanting to dance in college. Like I said, this is a whole different time commitment. You're not just practicing, you know, a couple nights a week. Like, you're practicing at least 3 nights a week. You are having team workouts on top of games, on top of homework and going to class. Just really, really figure out if that's like what you really, really want to do. Or is everything else in college more important? Not more important, but something you want to explore more, like a sorority or, you know, doing like student senate or something like that. Making sure that this time commitment is something you're really, really wanting to put in. And wanting to put in for all of it too, because you have to remember, like, team workouts come with being on a college or a professional team.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot be afraid of the weight room. You cannot be afraid to work out. You can't be afraid to put those extra weights on that rack. Like, they will push you in that way too. So get yourself comfortable with the weight room, because it is a reality moment when you get in there with a real college trainer.
Yeah.
And they're like, what, you don't know how to bench? And you're like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So definitely take the time and, you know, get you know, I don't know if you make a checklist or whatever it is that you do, but really thinking about those things to really help you prepare. I don't really have a timeline of how long you should take to prepare for something, because every person is different. Our goals, you know, like, are different. But if you have that time to prepare, you know, your audition is 6 months from now, I would absolutely start getting in the mindset of auditioning for that team. You know, finding a routine for yourself. If that's working out 2 or 3 times a week, get in the routine of that. If that's taking a few minutes to study about the school or study about the pro team, start taking the time to do that. You know, if you're able to go and maybe catch a game or something, go to the game, you know, like, kind of scout it out a little bit. Like, what are they doing? What does that kind of look like, you know? And then also,
thankful for social media too.
Yeah, shows a lot.
I feel like when I was auditioning, like, I think my senior year of high school is when Instagram started becoming like a thing. I didn't have Instagram until like my senior year of high school. I didn't even really use it that much, and so I feel like a lot of teams and stuff didn't have Instagram. So take that to your advantage now. You can fully see what the team does, the routines they do,
the tricks,
you can probably
the technique.
Like, get see some of the girls on the team. Maybe you can connect with a girl on the team, you know, something like that. So social media is to your guys' advantage right now, because we did not have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So use the social media, you know, to be able to do that, you know. If it's your eating habits, start to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Eating for me is a struggle because I love chicken nuggets. And if you know me, I don't like to give up my nuggets,
Mm-hmm.
But, there were certain times when I was on cheese. Like, I had to cut down on them. Not saying give them up.
Give them up.
But, I'm like, man, as much as I want to, but just knowing that, be ready to invest in yourself. Invest in the commitment that it takes to be a part of that team, and know that your preparation hopefully will help you make the team if that's the ultimate goal, and should that be your path. But it doesn't end there. It's just the beginning. So everything you did prepping you, now that you're on the team, you gotta kick that into full force and stay committed. So if they're like practices at 5:00, be there 15 minutes early. Have everything. Pack your bags and stuff the night before, so that you don't be worrying about, did you forget something? Did you leave something? We're all human.
Right.
It happens.
Right. Just because you make the team does not mean you can slack off all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, you have to think about that. Like, when you're preparing for it and all that kind of stuff, like, think about you're doing that on top of 15 million other things, and, figuring out if it's worth it. And, that's just everyone's personal preference. We obviously thought it was worth it because we did it I did college team for 4 years, you did cheese for 4 years, so,
So, there's a lot of great things that come from it, but again, the whole point of it all is prepare yourself for that transition. It's going to look different for everybody. Lean upon your resources. If you have, good friends that maybe made the team, or maybe other friends that are thinking about doing it, lean upon each other, practice together, go work out together, use those things to your advantage, and you can always reach out to us, if you have more questions, or if there's more things that you want to know. We'll be more than happy to speak with you, or come into your team or your school or whatever to, maybe do a workshop about preparing for auditions as well. So, all right, so those are our little insights about transitioning and preparing to audition for a college, university, or pro team. All right, signing off.
Bye, guys.
Cool.